Hey, this is Steve.
Steven.
Neil.
And Miles.
Hey, we're here for Live from Midgar. This is a spoiler edition. We got Miles was able to get a spoiler for us.
Thanks, Miles.
And it's a pretty cool card, but we're not going to go over it right now. We're going to talk about a bunch of spoilers that came out
So many
this
spoilers.
week. And
Also, this is episode 36.
whatever. It's episode 36, the spoiler edition. We're going to have a video of it. Is it only going to be in video?
I'm going to try to do an audio.
So there's also going to be an audio, most likely.
We'll
Hopefully.
watch it on YouTube. You can watch it on your way home from work.
Yeah, just do whatever the fuck you want with it, you know?
This is America. But to our friends in Canada, they're also pretty free.
Yeah, we're looking out for the three of you that actually listen to us generally on the through
Hey,
the
man.
podcast like normal. Thank you.
We're actually hitting around the 50s. A lot of repeats, I'm sure, but
Yeah.
like I listened to it 8 times. Those are my numbers.
That's
right
all I
there.
do at work is just hit repeat.
Yep.
I think Carly Simone wrote a song about you once.
So we had almost 10 different cards, probably more than that, spoiled in the last week.
Yeah,
here?
a plethora of cards.
Yeah, there's
yeah,
a
it
lot.
got super busy.
So we're going to go through some of the spoilers, and then we're going to transition. I think one of the cards are a little bit similar to the cards that we have that we're going to spoil, and we'll probably transition into it midway through
There's
the video.
a cycle.
Yeah.
There's a cycle of cards.
So we'll do that, and so keep on listening if you want to see the spoiler. Let's start with the one that's really intriguing. Let's start it off with Kageyama's spoiler.
Card of the week.
Card of the week.
Card of the week.
It was a hero card. It's very cool. Steven will read it for us.
So it's a water card, of course. It's a 4-drop backup. It's Ultimecia, who's a witch category. And it states, when Ultimecia enters the field, each player reveals the top card of your deck, and then each player that revealed a character may play it onto the field. And then for 2 water, 2 colorless, and tap, put Ultimecia into the break zone, choose 1 forward, and put it on top of its owner's deck.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So it's the second card that can do this ability. This ability of being able to put something in the field onto someone's top of their deck. I believe Guido is the first that it was able to do it.
Best card ever made.
And
Really messes with a lot
Maybe
of
best
players.
card never played. I think it's probably more appropriate.
but the problem with Guido was that it's 5 cost or more. You can only choose a 5 cost or more, and it never untaps unless you pay for it to untap, and then you have to pay 3, I think, and then tap Guido. But luckily for Guido, it doesn't break.
This card breaks water.
And there's that card. And then there's now Ultimecia, which is the second card to do this. I think it's really interesting.
Yeah.
It's a new they're bringing this new mechanic in. I don't know how well it will work out. I don't know how I feel about it. It gives the opponent so much value too. On top of it, you paid for to get something, but they don't have to pay for anything to get it.
Yeah.
So I don't know how I feel about
It's
it.
the same reason I don't like playing Seraphy. Because I'm always like, unless you screwed up. I think that at least gives us some interesting plays with multicolor. So if you're playing something like Grenade or Black Knight or
Someone brought up
Buckaboo.
Buckaboo.
Yeah, if you're playing any of those cards, I think that you can trap people by getting them.
But is it a trap?
Hold on,
You're
so-
giving them that card,
So
though.
you're playing a card. You're paying 4 mana for backup, right? So you need it to have extra value. Because we have 4 mana backups that, like draw 2 and stuff. So we need it to give us value. So in order to get value from this card, we need to get a better
should look
card.
over
We
there.
need to get. I'll look at you because you're beautiful. We need to get value on this transaction, right? So we're basically paying an extra 2 mana to get this trade where we both look at the top of our decks. Hopefully they get a backup and they're at 5 or something maybe. So you're playing it late or
It's
early.
a summon.
So
Or
you
they
either
get
need to be able to
summoned,
look at the top of your deck, right? So that you can increase the chances that you win this transaction. It doesn't guarantee it, but it increases it. Like if you have a Veritas up there, you know it's a good chance to play it, right?
Right.
What order does it resolve? It's your turn. You control, right? So
Yeah.
okay. But the problem is if you play a card like Bookaboo or something, you're pitching another card, so you're paying 6 to set this up. And you're paying 6, maybe they have to discard the cards of Bookaboo and stuff, but there's some of those cards are suboptimal, which is why they're not part of the meta. So you're playing suboptimal plays just to make this transaction good, but it still might not be good. They might get their ETB effect and, they might get a Veritas or whatever and still mess you up. So it's really unsafe and unpredictable. I think currently with the cards we have, I don't think this card would see any play at all, but there is a new set coming out, and so we can't say for sure that's a bad card. The fact that it can bounce them to their hand is good, but then you're paying another 2 CP.
On top of their deck.
Yeah, it bounces to the top of the deck, right? I mean, I like that bottom effect decently, actually, on itself. If this is a 3-cost backup that just had that, I think I'd like it more. I think it's a cool card, and perhaps one day may be usable, but I don't see it being a good kind of game event that you want to do at the moment.
Yeah, if we had a couple more cards that allowed us to look at the top of the opponent's deck to see what their next card is going to be.
There's no card that does that right now.
Correct,
so,
yeah. I mean, I think if we had something like that gave us the ability, it would be good. Or even if we got a couple more cards that allowed us to put stuff back on top. But even then, it's not like you can put a summon back on top of someone's deck. They're still going to get value.
There's nothing that interacts with Ultimecia specifically, right? I mean, nothing that says if you control Ultimecia or anything.
Yeah, there's a Cypher.
No, Cypher is Adia.
Yeah,
and the only one...
Please.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
we're back.
Okay, so
and we're back.
And there's Witch.
There's Witch, yeah. So there's a possible play. It's 4-drop Adia. She can be sacrificed to put a Witch into play, which is pretty much just her. She's the only real Witch of consequence, I believe. And so you could break that to bring this into play. I don't really see that.
But you already paid 4 for it, right?
Yeah, so that's probably not a great transaction.
You
would need to have a deck that, I don't know. I mean, maybe in Tidal where just having 8 backups or 8 characters in play gives you things, and so you can have both these cards in play, and you can break it to bring back another one. I think the 8 tile deck's already pretty darn good though. So actually, I don't know what this card's doing, and we should talk about the next card.
Yeah, I mean, even if you're playing a deck that's trying to spit out forwards, so you're playing Shelks or Godot's or Quistuses or even Agrius. If you're going crazy and playing Agrius, I don't think that you're going to see I don't think you're ever going to see
Quistis. I wonder.
I don't know, Quisties.
Well, it's not
sexy.
Anyways,
it's not Latin, so it's not
what?
Quistis.
Anyways,
she's not sexy. She has bad breath.
What? Anyways, the thing that I was interested in was actually the ability. It's one of the newer ones. It's not limited like Ito.
That's true.
The thing I was interested, it costs a little bit. It cost a lot, but I remember when I first built the bounce deck that I was running, I wanted to run Guido, but it's so bad you couldn't. But just the transaction, if you're able to play Guido and didn't have the restriction of 5 costs, right? You can bounce something to the top of your opponent's deck, and you bounce something to their hand, and you swing with Zidane. So you get 2 off the field. You get one of them that you didn't want, and you get it into the damage zone, and you get one into the break zone.
I'm sure that'd be really good on December 25th, but otherwise not very good.
What's December 25th?
Christmas.
On Christmas, okay. Sorry.
It's still a great mechanic, though, because at the same time, I mean, even if you don't swing in, you can also, if you have Riku on the field, if you're playing a win-water deck.
Yeah, and you can mill it.
You can mill it, too.
You're paying hella.
I do like that the card doesn't have restrictions on what can ETB, right? I often criticize them for that too much, and I like that it's not on this card. But otherwise, I just don't really see a home for it at the moment. But like I said again,
it's too random.
There's going to be new cards in the new set, and so you can't really talk about a new meta without seeing all the cards.
He says that all the time, and it becomes a really powerful card later on, right?
So everyone buy your Ultimecias. All right.
The wall was bad.
I was wrong about Nidhogg.
Yeah, you were.
So there's a second one. I'll take this one, and then we'll just keep on going this way.
We were all kind of wrong about Veritas, so.
I thought it was good. Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
All right, so RVA had this spoiler, and it's a 6 character, another 6 character, and it's a backup.
Best Final Fantasy.
That's true. It's a 2-drop fire, and the card name is Shadow, so we all know Shadow, and he's an assassin.
Why isn't he a thief or
Should
a
have been
ninja?
He's a ninja.
He's a ninja.
He has Throw, which is the quintessential ninja ability in Final Fantasy.
But
Let's not even open that can of worms.
The other Shadow card is also an assassin, so at least
Okay.
they're not fucking messing with it, right? They're
All
consistent.
right.
Well, let's give them that. So anyways,
least
the
they keep
ability
edging,
is pay 1 fire and tap it, put Shadow into the break zone, choose 1/4, deal it 8,000 damage. You can only use this ability if a forward you control has been put from the field into the break zone this turn.
So I like it a lot.
There you
I
go.
think this card's very good and will immediately see play. I think that I would probably cut the Black Mage in my deck to run one of these right now to get in Fire Ice returners, right? And I'd try to see if I could fit a second one in there. The deck is kind of tight on backups because like the faster versions you want to run Sage. If you're running a slower version without Sage, you would cut to run a second one of these for sure. Because right now you pretty much want to run 3 Edgar. Maybe you go to 2 Edgar in one of these. It's quite good. So you can say like, well, that's a big investment. You have to have something die, pay a red, and lose a backup, right? But I mean, like, you're not doing this just willy-nilly. You're doing this when you're pushing, because the deck's all about, pressuring them a lot. It's basically a tempo deck, because you're playing locks, right? You're playing Celestes. You're tapping things and attacking, making them discard cards. And so when they start to come back in the game, they might play a big guy you don't like, big, brawly, mean motherfucker. And this card lets you, like, oh, they killed one of your guys, and they're going to start taking the tempo back. Well, now you just lost a backup to kill their thing right back, and you swing back in with Celeste or Laswell, and you kill them. So I think the card's actually quite strong, and I would play it immediately if I had access to it. So
Yeah, I agree. I think I drop an Edgar down. I've been running Miles's return deck, and I've been thoroughly enjoying it, and
it's fun.
I think I would drop it to 2 Edgars and drop one of the Black Mages, like you said, and drop those to and do a 2/2.
Yeah. It's just a good card, and it has a home. More 6 backups is always good.
Yeah, I like it in mono fire. It combos very well with Legendary Cloud, the Return Cloud.
Yep.
So you have this 9K body that's potentially going to be bigger. You can block something or attack into something.
Did we say what the text was with this card? I guess it's going to be on the video.
Yeah.
Never mind. Keep talking, Neil.
But you can take that cloud and you can have a 2 potential swing or a 3 potential swing because maybe they block and you trade or you combat trick or something
5-drop cloud.
to get it out. Yeah, 5-drop cloud.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if you don't know, it's just a 2-drop backup, and if a dude dies, you can pay a red.
I just read
You
it.
read it.
I
Steve read it.
asked. I didn't know. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
It's because you're not listening.
But so I think
Do I bore you? What
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it gives you the ability to, potentially swing a board state, and
Also,
clear a couple guys
It
out
breaks
for
one
you.
of your backups if you don't need it, right?
Yeah,
'Cause
the problem with Edgar was that usually it's always good, right? But the Edgar stays, the Seltzer stays, the Sid usually stays.
well, you should be running Kuja in your.
I mean, you are, but it's stuck there, right? Like, let's say you don't draw the one of Kuja, it's on the way bottom of your deck, and you never draw it, right?
Or it gets hit to damage.
Yeah, or it gets hit to damage. Your backups are very stuck, but the Shadow. Good thing about Shadow is that you can get rid of it to play something
Also,
else.
8Ks I always call 7Ks like decents and 8Ks guys and 9Ks fighters, right? Like the fighters, like the big bros. So it doesn't kill those, but if you have a Laswell, you can just pay 1 and ping it right up. So, also you can lose things and then Phoenix things back to do it, So there's a lot of stuff with it.
And it's good. It's also good. It's in fire. You run it. Like I said, even in fire, it's good. It doesn't have to be just in the returner stack because you've got Aroa now. So he does 9K or potentially more depending on other stuff.
I'm not
I like this
entirely
card.
sure what the flavor is. What Drew? Off camera.
Doesn't work with Aurora because it is no longer in play.
Oh yeah.
Don't
Damn it! I always
lie
forget
to
that.
our fans.
But
You're a father. You
but
gotta
you
have
can
more
tap-
integrity.
But you can tap Iroha to do that 2,000.
Fine then.
Yeah.
You can 10K with Warmac.
Yeah. I'm confused on how this is Shadow. Shadow.
The flavor of the
Well,
time.
Shadow throws things, right?
He's
throws
throwing
things,
himself.
and okay. Yeah. and he has a dog that comes in and kills people. That's what Shadow does. And
Clearly,
sometimes
the dog is not implied.
Sometimes,
Clearly, the dog's
sometimes
implied.
through circumstances not under his control, he abandons his child. And other times, he waits on the edge of the floating continent and dies or doesn't die. Those are the things he does. And I don't know how this card demonstrates that, but whatever. I like it. I'm playing it.
It's a good card.
Yeah.
I think it's
So
really
what were you
good.
going to say, Bambic? We've interrupted the Bambic train now.
It's fine. I already lost my train of thought because Miles likes to ramble on all the time.
It's one of the better Zeppelin songs, I think.
All right. Read the next
All
card.
right.
Read the next card.
All right, so we have I think this is a lightning card, but the color distortion
It's
makes it
lightning.
look like a light card. Okay, so it's a Sid of Klangoli, which is from Final Fantasy Tactics Advance 2. It's going to be one of the full art cards in the new set. I believe we're getting full art cards in every set going on. There'll be a varying rarities, so common, rare.
Uncommons.
Well,
and
yeah, I guess they
heroes.
call rares uncommons. Yeah, whatever. All the rarities, you know them, you love them. And there'd be foils and non-foil versions. I'm pretty sure that's.
I don't think we've heard confirmation.
We haven't heard confirmation of if they're going to be foils and non-foils, but looking at this, it looks very non-foil.
Yeah, this particular version.
But we've also seen a couple.
Foils.
We've also seen a couple of the non. Yeah, everything we've seen. This full art has been.
But anyway, so there'll be new full art. So this is one of them. It's a 2-drop backup, which is good. Final Fantasy Tactics Advance is a relevant category type. His drop type is irrelevant. So this says pay a lightning, break it, and then we're going to discard a FFTA2 forward, and then we're going to put him into the break zone. Yeah. And then choose an active forward and break it. So that's pretty good. We get to get rid of one of our backups, right? We get to get rid of a specific card from our hand, and then we get to break something clean. So things I like about that right away is breaking something clean is really good. There's no contingency there.
Well, there is. It's one active, so there is that.
Well, yeah, because
contingency
it's
of
lightning.
active.
Yeah, it's true. But I mean, like it just breaks it, right? It does not break a 3K.
But it lets you do
Unless
it.
the card can't be broken.
Well, yeah.
But at least you get to do it at instant speed at active as compared to some of those other things.
Yeah,
So
things I don't like about this, the name is
name.
the worst possible name it could have because the 3-drop Cid of Klangali is the Final Fantasy Tactics Advance tutor card, which is almost an absolute necessity in any FFTA2 deck you're going to run. And it's very important because Alua has the best S ability in the whole game, and you really want to draw your Aluas.
What else are you supposed to name this, though?
Anything else?
It doesn't really matter.
But it does, though, because it's the same character.
Yeah, but make a different character or find another way to get this effect happening. Like, I mean, the problem is you're obsoleting other cards, right? But like, they're just losing something. Like the FFTA2 deck can't run both these cards really. So, what are they supposed to do?
Yeah, but
I mean, in Tidal, it's great, right? In Tidal, you're happy with this.
Yeah.
But they don't design cards for Tidal.
But
so.
I mean, the core of this set though was Tactics Advanced 2 cards, and you cannot not have Cid Klangali.
No, I understand what
Yeah.
Bambik's saying, but I also understand Miles is
Yeah.
that if you want to play a real,
If you want to play both, you can't really
yeah,
play
you
both.
can't.
'cause you
It's
gotta
very difficult to
pick or
play.
choose. Yeah.
It's a good card, and also the other is really good, and you can't run them at the same time.
Yeah, and
it
they
just
don't
can't
and
happen.
And so,
therefore,
the fix in the design for this game was the S abilities, right? Which is a great idea, but neither of these cards have S abilities. So like basically these cards just fight each other for relevance, and they both make each other worse. And it's just kind of frustrating. Like if your title, you're very happy with this card, right? This card just makes your FFTA2 title like much better. And it's possible that this is better in some constructed builds, right? But because it's obviously a decent card, I think everyone will agree with that. It's decent. Yeah. But like, I mean, I just want to draw my Aluas.
So what do you think though? So if we see one of the things that I think could be is, I mean, I know you always talk about design space and trying to open things up. If we start seeing more cards like the Marsh, you know, draw 5, pick a lightning card.
Yeah, gather together. Is what
yeah,
I call it,
gather together. Do you think having more cards like that, especially in colors that don't have them currently, like say lightning, do you think that that makes that card? I mean, obviously, it makes it a little bit better. Do you think it gets to the point potentially where if you have enough of those that you can use the gather together instead of the direct tutor?
So this is why like Marsh is good because he dies. Like I mean, like it's easier to get rid of Marsh and play another Marsh. It actually means you could play another Marsh in your deck of a different variety if you want, because he just dies so easy.
Yeah,
you don't really want your backups to die, and you can argue, well, this card breaks, and so like possibly you run 3 of the other one of this one because this one is breakable. But I mean, like also the problem with that is you kind of want to play your 3-drop backups on turn 2.
Yeah.
Right. So like this card, if it's your opening 2-drop backup, you can't play it and then play your other Cid.
Yeah.
And so like you just those situations just suck and lose you games.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, do you think the tutor is as important? If we have so many gather-togethers to be able to pull, do you think it's as important to just be able to pull the Alua when you need it?
Gather together is good when it's like red, like Marsh, but when it's like Gravis 7 character, it can be pretty good, like it is with Barrett, the 5-drop Barrett. That's a good card, but it still is not as powerful in tutoring because like
the biggest problem. Okay, the biggest problem with Gather Together is that it's usually forwards. Barrett's the first one, I believe.
That's just card.
That's just character, right?
But I mean, we could
actually, I take that back.
Ferris isn't.
Ferris also is character.
Yeah, but not summon.
But I mean, we could see. I mean, we could see more lightning forwards that gather together lightning. We could see another lightning backup that gathers together character. I mean, we could see a summon that does it.
I mean,
there's space.
We're speculating inside a vacuum that we don't see any other cards right now.
I'm just saying.
I mean, yes, of course, if you see a lot more cards that have that ability, then we can continuously draw it. Then you won't need the direct search. That's very true. So.
Just saying, there's room.
Yeah.
Kageyama. Pay attention.
He doesn't care.
Don't
But
listen.
if you're
I
from
mean,
America,
listen.
he doesn't care about you.
I don't know about that.
Neil, next card.
We got a new Hurdy. Bunny.
Yeah.
No, he's not a bunny. He's a Moogle, but he looks like a bunny. Anyways, 3-cost Hurdy. He is also going to be one of the new full arts that we get. He is Job Moogle, FFTA2, backup. As I said, 3-cost. When Hurdy enters the field, reveal the top card of your deck. If it is a character, add it to your hand. And you can dole Hurdy to put Hurdy into the break zone and choose one category FFTA2 forward in my break zone and add it to your hand.
It's a nice card.
One question: is Hurdy gonna have like a non-full art also in the boxes?
I believe so.
Probably.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Okay, so those cards are completely useless then. like they're just dead cards. Might as well be blank.
To us.
To most people.
And limited.
Let's be really honest. To most people, it's going to be garbage.
I do feel like a large percentage of people in this game get most of the cards they want.
If they're going by anything, all the full art cards have all been promos. So if they actually keep it that way, I'd be okay with it.
Yeah.
They're not promos. These are the cards.
They have been, but now they are.
And Hurdy's are heroic. So.
Well, I'm just saying, so far all the full art cards that we've gotten in a foil version have been a promo card.
Yeah, but that's no longer happening.
Yeah, it looks like now they're going to be. And I don't know how I feel about the whole floor. But anyways, we're doing the spoilers right now. Let's talk about the spoilers.
This Hurdy, I don't know. I'm torn between this and the one from Opus 5.
That's the 4-drop.
4-drop Hurdy, where when he enters the field, search for Mont Blanc. Mostly for the fact that when I ran that Hurdy, I was running a Sarah Moogle deck, which actually was pretty fun at the time. So, but this one actually seems pretty good.
This card's better than the 4-drop Hurdy. 4-drop Hurdy is like okay, but it only gets you Mont Blanc and it costs 4 to do it, which is unfair. That card should have been a 3-drop EX backup, I think. I feel like it's unfairly costed a 4. This card gets you a character, right, when you play it?
Yep.
Yeah, if you just flip it over.
So it's an evoker, like most of the time. Most people, it gets you it draws you a card, so it costs 1 mana to play this card. Almost every time. It's like 80 to 90% depending on what build you have.
But yeah, you're also running it in ice, so chances are good. You have Yule or something. So it's in a color that has the ability to scry the deck pretty easily.
I don't even think it needs to. I just think it's going to hit almost every time. It's going to hit over 80%.
Then you hit that Glacius every single time.
And what's its second ability again?
Put Hurdy into the break zone and choose one category FFTA2 forward in your break zone and add it to your hand.
Okay, so I guess the question is what FFT2 forward is.
Ice Lightning deck with Ilua.
There's Ilua, Adele, Luso.
There's a couple of random standard units.
And there will be new ones.
Yeah, there will be plenty of new ones.
Edwin is not terrible.
There's also
Vermilda is beautiful.
It's a very beautiful card. Yeah. Hopefully, we'll see some more Sword Saints.
There definitely be. Well, yeah.
Because Vermilda does the Sword Saint thing, right?
I wish that they would count. So, like, in Tactics Universe, right, in Evil Ace, there's, like, a lot of, like, specialty knights, right? There's, like, Holy Knights and Divine Knights and stuff. I wish they just all call them Sword Saint. So, when we get, what's his name? Tybalt? Not Tybalt. The one who, Beowulf. Yeah, Beowulf. When we get a Beowulf.
That assumes we get a Beowulf.
Yeah, well, we will.
Or maybe we'll get, Gafgarian.
Yeah, but Gafgarian and them, they should all kind of be that, I think. Give them all the specialty knight tactics job. It'd be fun.
Yeah, that would be cool.
But yeah, this card is good in title. It's probably going to be good in limited. I think that this card has a chance of being good in construction, but there's so many ice backups, I highly doubt it makes the meta.
I just want to see Opus 2 Hurdy eroded. That's all I want to see.
Next card?
Yeah.
Yep. So we got another water card. Hey, I guess I'm getting water. It's a Final Fantasy IV character, Rosa. She's actually a forward this time. She's a 3-drop, 7K forward. And
is it her first time becoming a forward? No, it's not. There's
other Rosa.
There's that little midget.
The midget
card.
Rosa. That's right. That's true.
They prefer Chibi.
Chibi's the word.
Whatever.
The Pictolia. There we go. It's the Pictolia Rosa. But this Rosa is a 3-drop, 7K. It states if a forward you control is dealt damage, reduce the damage by 1,000. That's pretty nice. And then when Rosa forms a party and attacks, activate her, and she can attack once more this turn. Yeah. And then I think she has a really good special. It's basically no cost except per her own card, and it says reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a water card, activate all the forwards you control.
Yeah, so as a long-term mono water player, I like this card a lot.
It's great.
I think I would play it. I think I'd probably cut my Halicarnassus for
Yep.
it, and I want to play more. I'm not
Maybe
like,
your Titus. I don't know. It's the
You-
Titus has also the untap ability, right?
So
Party attack.
First thing I want to say about this is, you have the mini Minwu on it, which is fine, irrelevant if you have a Minwu out. So that line of text either might matter or might not matter at all. But whenever she forms a party and attacks, you get to attack again, and you can do that continuously, not just once.
No, it's just once, right?
No, it's continuously.
When she does it, she can attack once more this turn. So
Oh,
if I attack
yeah,
with
she
her
can
and
do
a
it
Viking,
yeah.
that's a hit. And then I can attack with her and Layla, that's
Yep.
a hit, and it happens again. That's the way the card's worded. If it doesn't work that way, they
need
worded the
to
card
fuck it,
wrong.
yeah.
And how dare you? So that's what it says on the card, though. Also, she has a straight no chaser pay for her S ability, right?
Yeah.
And those ones have always been super good because it's a lot of times if you have one card in your hand, it's harder to mess with people. But I've been playing with some like fast water, lightning, Alua, Viking, play stuff, draw stuff decks. I think this goes really good in there because it lets you untap your guys, so we can give you a heck of mana real fast, like a mini Diablos.
Yep.
And like it lets you attack fast and multiple. I like this card a lot. I think it's really cool. It does a lot of different things. It's a relevant type, relevant category because it's 4. It has Amino art. It costs 3 for 7K. Like this is a good card. I can't guarantee you the meta is going to love it, but it's a really cool card, and I like it a lot.
I think at a minimum, especially in mono water, it's going to be at least a 1 of.
Yeah,
minimum.
it's worse
you
as a
have
1
to,
of because
yeah, I understand that, but
right.
you still run.
I mean, she's just 3 cost pseudo 8K because of the reduced damage by 1,000.
And
I think-
Waka's like always around.
And
right?
Waka's always around, and with Minwu being in color and a couple of the other buffs, I think that generally that 1,000 damage is probably going to be bigger than we think it's going to be across the board. And then I just love the ability. I really like this new attack feature.
Yeah.
Because it's in the party attack color. So you've got the 2 backups.
The one lets you draw a card.
There's
every
one lets you
party
draw a
attack,
card
yeah.
if you party attack. There's the other one that when you party attack, I think 2,000 power or 1,000 power to each thing.
There's also the Knights, right? That can make
The Knights that
Rosa
can make
can't be broken.
Can't be broken. And then on top of it, there's also the Opus 1 or 2 Layla, which if it hits you for damage, you get to draw a card, so you can tag the
Mime.
Layla with the Rosa.
Can you search the Knight
There's
card
Mime.
real quick?
Yeah,
There's Mime, and then so I think there's really cool. I also like this in a water wind deck, running the Opus or the Final Fantasy VII Chocobo that adds 3,000 power when you attack with a party.
Right.
So you attack with her, she gets 3,000 power.
They
the
can't
Chocobo
party
gets 3,000
attack
power.
with the Chocobo.
Oh yeah. Why am I thinking? I hate my life.
This guy.
See, I'm dumb.
This guy.
No,
See,
you're
I'm
not-
thinking about cool things.
So here's some cards that have party attack abilities.
Yeah.
Let's go over. There's Pirate Hat Vaughn, who's really bad, irrelevant. So there's 2-drop Knight from Opus 1. It says they don't receive damage when they party attack, right? So you can party attack kind of unadulterated.
Your poor knight gets eaten though.
Yeah. I mean,
If they block,
so that card's probably not great. There's the 1-drop Knight from Opus 1 that says the forwards forming a party with Knight don't receive any damage. Probably not good. Yeah. Mime is possible. It can party attack with anything, and when it forms a party and attacks, you get to draw a card. Yep. So you'd have a big guy they'd have to do 5 to Mime to kill it in the transaction to get a card. Maybe it also is a 2-drop water backup, right? So you can search for it or you can play with Lina, so that's good. There's Cognazio that can't form party attack, so he came up with a search. There's like the Lina doesn't matter. There's the White Mage before it does a party attack. Damage received decreases by 3,000, so that'd be a 4,000 decrease. Yeah. I don't see you playing that though. But the backups there. So there's a Nora, right? Opus 5.
Doria.
When you deal damage to with a party attack, you draw a card. Celestia from Type O. It says when you form a party, you get plus 1,000. So that's pretty good. So those are kind of the cards you have that are relevant here. But I mean, I think I'm mostly going to be party attacking with my Layla Viking combo. So
yeah,
I want to party attack her with Yuri. No, just kidding. I don't really want to.
I don't know if you guys talked about this, but how do you feel about Opus 9 actually having a title this set?
Yeah, so I
Lords
wish it
and
was
Chaos.
just called the title and not Opus 9, but they're getting closer. I think the number is actually bad. The number is like if right, pretend you're newer than you are. So you come into the shop and you're like, wow, that Final Fantasy VII trailer sure blew my socks off. I went and bought some new socks, so I was around the area, and wow, Final Fantasy has a card game. I want to play it. Where should I get started? They're like, well, there's Opus 6, and there's Opus 9. And I'm like, well, shouldn't I get Opus 1? And they're like, oh, well, Opus 1's outdated. And you're like, oh, things are already outdated in the game? Man, that's rough. Like, if it was just called, Final Fantasy Look at Cloud's Abs, or Final Fantasy Blitzball Orkans, or, Zidane has a monkey tail. If it was just named different things, then you could be like, I love Zidane's monkey tail, top 10 monkey tails in literature, right? Abu's number 1, obviously, but Zidane is quite up there.
I don't even know where you're going with this.
The monkey tail from Jumanji, number 3.
All right, you're done, Miles. You're done.
But if they have names, if they had actual names, I think it'd just be better. So I'm glad it has a name. I just wish it didn't say 9. I wish it was just.
I think it's good.
Edgelord.
I think it's very
Opus
good.
IX, Lords and Chaos.
I think it's very good that they're putting names on it.
Why is it called Lords and Chaos though? If it's like Tactics Advanced.
And like the 1/7 card, which is 1 Vincent.
No idea.
I don't know.
Maybe we'll find out when we actually get further into the set.
Fair enough.
That's going to be the new Light and Dark card.
I am excited about Opus 9, but you know what's even cooler? Opus 11. You want to do an Opus 11?
This is an Opus 11. This is an Opus 9
You're
spoiler.
skipping over Steve there.
It's okay. It's okay.
Isn't that what they said?
No, there was a mistake.
Okay, well.
It's Opus 9.
That's funny. Someone said it was Opus 11. That's possible, right?
No, there was one card that was like Opus 10 or something like that. That was
Vincent's from Opus
released.
10.
That was released ahead or something like that.
Something happened.
I forgot they skipped one to really show something.
Can I do Rydia?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So Rydia, she's the girl who you terrorize her village and kill all of her parents.
From the best Final Fantasy game.
One of the best.
No, the best.
Sorry.
I beg to differ, fellas.
Well, it's a good one. So this is a Summoner 3-drop 7K. So right away, 3 7K, that's like fine, right? That's kind of what we expect for paying 3.
Reduce cost from Braska. Sorry, just keep going.
That's probably not relevant. Hold on. It's conceivably relevant because
there may be more summoners.
Earth Water is not terrible together because like you have a lot of summons if you run the vanilla package and stuff, right? Like that might not be irrelevant.
I'm just saying
anyway, it's a category 4, obviously, which is not a known good category and constructed. But
now it might be different. There are some 4s coming out.
So this has a 4 category matter, right? So it says Final Fantasy 4 forwards other than Rydia you control get plus 1,000 power and Brave. So she has the ability that Cyan has really for the 6 characters, which I found pretty darn solid up until like the new 6 package was faster. So that's a good effect, right? And so we're talking like Cecil and Edge and Rosa, right? Who like all these characters would have Brave, or like Yang, for example.
He already has Brave most of the time
anyway.
Yeah.
So when it enters the field, you search if you control 4 or more 4 characters. That includes your backups. That's important. You get to search for 1 summon of cost 1 and add it to your hand. So the first thing everyone's talking about is cockatrice.
But all the 9 summons have been 1-drop so far. Kukulane, Belias.
Kahulin.
Apparently is the correct...
Stop it. It's Choo-Choo, guys.
It's Kukulane, whatever.
Kukulane. Apparently,
I say Kukulane. I'm not even
That's
changed
totally
that.
fine.
Okay, so 1-drop summons.
Totally
There's the 4K Ifrit. There's the bad Shiva that does like a all forward 5K. There's the original Sylph, which is choose 1 forward, activate all forwards you control, get plus 1,000 power till the end of turn. There's a Golem that is decent, right? You get plus 2,000, 4,000 for blocking. There's the Ramu that does 5K. There's Moogle, which is kind of good, right? Because it's draw 2, discard 1. There's Shura, which
Miles' most hated summon.
No,
not this one. I hate
not
the,
this
I
one.
hate
It's the other one. It's the other one. It's the 2-drop.
Yeah, I
one.
lost the pre-release that weekend.
Yeah, lost to me.
Yeah. So Shura is like kind of good, I guess. I mean, you can pick up Moogles with it, right? Yeah. So you can play Moogles. There's Shizazami, Susumi, Suzumi, the Whisperer. Nobody cares. Hashmill's like a cool card that everybody really likes, but no one actually really plays it to any positive effect. But it's a cool card.
I would honestly play Hashmaul in a couple of decks if I could more easily find Hashmaul. Rydia lets me do that.
Well, the
problem is now I have to find Rydia.
That's a good argument. I mean, possibly it's better, right? Especially if there's other summoner matter cards, right? So Leviathan here is plus 2,000 power to all water forwards. It's kind of a good card, but not really. There's this Ramu that can break monsters and forwards that cost 2. If there was a sideboard, this would probably be a better card. Poo-Poo, which is Poo-Poo can be a good card. It's just discard 1 card, draw 2 cards, right? So like that's a decent. Mateus the Corrupted, which I think people kind of over it being a super good meta card, but it's it's there. And then there's the Phil special, Cockatrice. He's a fine card.
Out, Phil.
He's more of a meme than a real card. There's Little Baby Ramu, which sucks. And then there's 1-drop Leviathan, which is interesting because you get to bounce things if its cost is equal to less than the number of cards in your hand.
Yep.
So like if you actually get the effect off, it's a pretty solid bounce. There's Chocomog, which doesn't grab very much, but it is a tutor. So I feel like if you get it for free and you pay it for 1, it can be actually interesting. Especially Fat Chocobo is from Final Fantasy IV originally. I don't know. I think the one they made is special. Right? But there might be
special and then Crystal Hunt.
Yeah, but the original Fat Chocobo is from 4, so they might make one. Who knows? Then there's Titan, which is okay, and then the new Alexander, which is okay.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
all
so
the
this
new,
was
all
gonna
the spoiler ones.
So there's a lot of spoiler ones that came out that were one drop
Yeah.
EX bursts, like the new Belias, and which is a perfect segue into our spoiler.
Yeah, which is one more card this Rydia can grab.
Yes.
So if you, and it might actually be the best target. And how about Steve, since you're kind of the host of the show, you tell him what it does?
So what it does is I'm gonna pull it out.
I do not remember.
I do not remember. I know it untaps, and
Well, you don't know anything apparently.
So nope, I was wrong. So it doesn't untap. It is an EX burst. It's a one-drop EX burst. You guys are probably looking at it right now anyways. So it's an EX burst. All the forwards you control gain plus 1,000 power until the end of the turn, and you get to draw one card.
Hey, Neil, we were right. It is a Sylph. We were right.
It is a Sylph.
Me and
called
Neil
it.
were debating a couple days ago. We were playing. We were just like, okay, so all these cards have been a previous card. What do we think
This is a
wind
wind
gonna
card,
be?
by the way.
Yeah. It's
What
a
do we
wind card.
think wind
Yeah.
is going to be? And we were just like, Neil's like, what if it's a Sylph again? And we're just like, okay, well, what is this Sylph going to do? So far, we've actually hit it on the mark, which is actually pretty nice.
Yeah, because I figured my assertion was that we were going to see a one cost of each summon in all colors that was kind of did something based on what the colors have been known for at this point, and that fell right into about
It was
what we
great.
thought. So.
Oh, my God.
yeah, so they're pretty much a cycle, except for the ice one costs one more.
Yeah, which is
Weird.
Weird. I wish they kind of kept into.
Yeah, but so like you can grab this card, so you can play Rydia, and then you can grab our card, Sylph. And the good thing about that is you kind of get two effects of it. If the plus 1,000 power ever matters, then you just get a card for free off Rydia, right? If you pay one more for it, basically, which is like a kicker. As for the Sylph card, I think this is a good card in limited. It having EX burst is quite strong.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
It's basically like worse than Belias a lot of the times, but it gives it to your whole team. But I think you play this card in limited a lot. It's a good limited trick. It's probably not great in constructed. It's probably only good if you like have things like Rydia that give you advantage for the one cost summon. But it's a nice little summon. I like the cycle of cheap things that replace themselves.
So I think it's really good. I think it's better than Belias in limited because Belias does plus 1,000 and gives it haste, and
Haste
it
if
will
there's 4 damage.
First strike.
no.
maybe.
First strike.
No,
Oh,
first strike.
1,000
Haste
and
is
first
4
strike.
damage.
Haste is 4 damage.
Yeah.
I rescind what I said.
Because
the first strike is, you know.
Well, when does plus 1,000 really matter? So if you attack into a 7K, they're not going to block with their 8K very often. And at that point, you're trading and getting a card.
Yeah.
Which is.
It's okay.
I
So-
like it. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. So the best example probably is when it saves your guy, right? When they do 6K to your 6K and you save it and draw a card. Because then it's a counterspell and you draw a card, right? So that's probably like the best effect. Because it's just often people are going to suspect you when you like are 7K to 8K fights, right? So like, and you don't get that much advantage out of it. But it's a good card, and you get it for all your guys too, which can matter more in limited because you get the gung board effect.
Also in limited, that might put you just above to push all the way through and finish the game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right?
It's like a bad overrun, you know. So
I like it. I like the idea of that card in like an Earth Wind summon-based 9 deck running the Garnet, the legendary Garnet that gets
Sure,
the
then you
2,000
get plus
power.
2,000, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a 3,000 power swing for one
well, you
thing
have to
and then the
overpay
bonus.
with her ability if you want to use her ability.
But that's why I'm saying you.
no,
sorry,
no,
not Earth
you
Wind, I
don't.
meant Earth Water.
No,
so,
no.
I mean,
Oh,
I'm
you're
saying-
talking
it
about
doesn't
Little
matter.
Garnet.
Not
Little
Earth,
Garnet
not
can play
Earth.
that for free, can't she?
Yeah,
No,
she
only
plays
does
it and
water.
she grabs it. No. It's any
Earth.
something.
I mean,
But
Water Wind is what I'm trying to say. That's the colors I'm trying
Garnet,
to say.
you don't have to use her ability to get the buff.
Oh, I know that, buddy.
Yeah, no,
but
you don't have to
what I'm
come- I'm saying you're
like,
playing
if
in
you're
the
mono
color.
screwed of the color.
Yeah.
So
Maybe just tap green.
How do you
for
guys
him.
feel
I'm saying if you're
about
mono screwed.
how do you guys feel about all the summons being EX burst and low cost this Opus so far?
I like that. I think that their summons aren't very good in this game. Like there's some of them that are great, like Diablos, right? But I mean, in general, there's not a lot of decks that like our buddy Drew has a deck that runs an abnormal amount of summons, and they are there. But the meta has not fielded a consistent play a lot of summons deck, right? People play between like 6 to 9-ish kind of range, right? But when they have the EX burst and draw you cards, they're just a lot more valuable. Also, I kind of don't like the EX burst things that like Titan or Odin that are just such a beating when the EX burst because it doesn't feel fun. You're like, oh, I attack you, and like, oh, you lose the game, you idiot. Why would you attack me? Your whole life is dead. I played this card for free. But the little draw card ones are nice, right? Because like
It gets you just ahead, just a little bit,
them
right?
getting cards may lose you the game. But at least it's not just like an immediate crazy effect.
Yeah.
And so I feel like it's a good way to make cheap little cards. So if they're going to be good enough to be played, I think this is how they would design them.
I also like them. I also like them from a consistency standpoint. With this one cost draw card, you can do something. Even if most of them don't have like a specific target, so you're still going to be able to handle them. But I like being able to play them off one backup. If you draw really bad and you don't want to play something, or if off an odd backup, 3 or 5, if you don't have the right card and you're playing an even card, it gives you the ability to do something and draw a card back to dig deeper. So it just helps you get through
It is
that
one
deck to
green
find
draw
more
a card
cards.
too,
And then,
which is value.
The other thing, since we haven't seen it yet, what do you think Earth is going to be? I have a feeling it's going to be another Hecaton share.
We actually
It's
saw
Golem.
Earth. It's Golem.
Oh,
From
Yeah.
Typo.
Yeah.
It's choose when forward against plus 2,000 power, draw a card. So,
typical Earth.
Meh.
I like the type 0 Bahamut.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of sameness from the summons again. It'd be nice to see something do something new.
Yeah,
You mean like Tonberry?
Yes. So Tom Berry is from a new category, Crystal Hunt, which is the fun little card game.
Yep.
That's not ours. It's like the Candyland version. So this is a monster, obviously. It's a 2-cost Tom Berry, and during your turn, it also becomes a forward with 4,000 power. So it means on their turn, it's not forward, right? It's just a monster. That's good because it's harder for them to interact with. They can't Cloud of Darkness or Cognazio. They're ETB.
Shantoto.
Or Genesis, right? They can't interact with it very easily on their turn. So it means on your turn, you're going to have a dude.
Yeah, but the thing is it automatically becomes a forward, right? So instead of choosing when.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit.
It's best if it costs 0 to turn it into it, right? That's the best. But this is better most of the time than paying 1.
Yep.
But not all the time.
And
So
when does it happen? At the beginning of your turn?
during your turn, it also becomes a forward. So it should say at the beginning of your turn, I imagine.
So the moment they pass and it goes
Yeah.
into your turn, it's a forward already.
So is it actually gonna stack, or is it
before
field
you-
ability?
It's before you draw.
It's field
It's
ability.
before you draw. It's a field
before you
ability.
draw.
Yeah. So when Tom Berry is put from the field into the break zone, you have to choose one of their forwards. Then it deals X damage for every 2 forwards in your break zone. So this is what I really like about this. This is kind of a new design space that they're doing, which is what I'm always complaining about. This is kind of like a benefit from dredging kind of thing, right? So you get guys in your yard, and you get a benefit from it. So your yard is an active zone of combat, right? Which is something the game could see value in, especially because I think a lot of games go to mill and late and stuff. There's not a lot of ways to interact with your graveyard. There's some stuff, right? And like minor and things.
Usually Earth is the one that does it.
But those are kind of just like reclaim stuff. It's not really like an interactive zone, which is good to have that be one. This card
does it. The card that I hated.
Yeah, there's some cards. There are some cards.
Yeah. Gilgamesh was the.
But
probably
this
the
gives
best
you
card.
like an on-field immediate value for just having like 8 guys in your zone, right?
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. What do you think about it, Bambic?
I kind of like this because it kind of messes with mill decks a little bit too, especially late game when they have like that 9K Camelon out and they don't realize that they forgot to choose Earth. And so you swing in Tom Berries, and they block with the Camelot because they're at 6 damage.
So you're saying this will help you beat bad players who play mill?
I
Has that been a bane of yours?
So it's been nice knowing you, Drew.
It does interact with players that sometimes do play mill decks. You can swing in with a Tom Berry to finish off a forward so that you can get something else onto the field.
You'd have to have 20 forwards in your...
I also think, truthfully, you know what my favorite use of this card is? The Veritas sack when you remove Veritas. I like that card.
Yeah, but it has to have something to kill. I mean...
Well, I know, but... you're going to... How often, you're killing Veritas.
I
So
kind of
you kill
wish it was
Veritas
just
and you
1,000
chuck it
damage
and be
for
like, kill
every
something
1
else.
forward you
It'd be
have.
fine.
I think that would have been perfectly fine. I don't think this card is super good. So, like, the main monsters deck is Water because Realm is very good and Mirror is very good, and that's where their backups are. So you'd be playing this in Water and Wind. The problem with the problem with such a deck is they don't run that many forwards because they're running monsters. You only run like 19 forwards a lot of times in the monsters deck, so you can't really play it in the monsters deck. So forget what I said. You have to play this in like an Earth deck that would want a monster.
Yeah,
that runs a lot
I
of
think
forwards.
I think it works fine in just a mono Earth deck. You just run the same thing, but you have Tom Berries. You can block with the Tom Berry, and then you can still trigger it. You only need 8 forwards, for instance, right?
Does
so
Tom
you
Berry
block with
grab
it,
this?
do 4,000.
Yeah, it just grabs Tom Berry.
I mean, you attack with it. I'm
So
sorry.
Tom Berry grabs it. So here, boys, this is how you run them. Get yourself some Tomberries, right? First of all, you can have multiple in play, unlike the other Tomberry.
Yeah.
So let's get 3 out there. Wow, what a great day. Then what we're gonna do, right? It's their turn. They got all these guys. Oh, they're looking so good over there. They got Astinians and Yuris and shit, and they're just prepping. We're gonna flash in our Shantoto on their turn. Wrath their board because we're using Tama, right? We're being tricky.
Yeah.
Flash in that Shantoto, wrath their board. It's our turn. Look who's ready to stab. You just go up there like this with your little lantern, and you're like, oh, everybody's grudge, son. And then you win the game. And that's the new meta. And if you're not playing that, you're bad.
And if you're playing it, you're horrible.
Well, you know, there's
Speaking of flashing in, we got another back attack card. Revealed
did.
Finally.
We did.
Back
attack.
Finally. I'm actually really liking back attack.
you got to say it like you're saying shake and bake.
Back attack.
Yeah, there you go.
So this back attack card is a Type 0 card from Type 0. It's a 3-drop wind 7 is the character's name, and basically it states when 7 enters the
It's
field.
a backup.
It is a backup.
Yeah.
Sorry, yes,
George
it's a backup.
is getting upset.
When 7 enters the field, deal 2,000 damage to all the forwards opponent controls. It's pretty nice.
Sure. If it costs a 2, I'd like it. Costs 3, and never gonna play it.
I like
That's my opinion.
I like the other 7. I mean, I don't necessarily dislike this one.
That's why it's getting remade.
Yeah.
I think it's
I don't
fine.
know.
I mean, you
It's
can
just-
use the snake bite multiple times.
Snake bite multiple times.
I mean, it's one more thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that bad. I also, Trixie.
I understand
get
You
why.
you run it as a 1 of, I think.
You could.
If you're
no,
running
it's
the
bad.
type.
I was thinking you could bounce to your hand to draw a card and with the 2-drop backup, Mion or whatever, and then play it again. But that's just bad. It's so much mana.
I do understand why it's 3 though, because the only other back attack backup is the Skarmleon, which is 2, but there's no other. Or sorry, the Carbuncle, but there's no other effect on Carbuncle.
Yeah, on the
yeah,
plus.
but people didn't play that, so it's obviously fairly
I don't
Well,
know. I mean, this
at
would
the
be-
same time though, the only other back attack cards you have the 3-drop Titus. Oh look, it's a 3-drop Titus with multiple effects on
and
it.
he's fine. He's just
I mean,
fine.
I think this
So-
card. I think this card goes. I mean, I think it fits in its space. Whether
It does.
whether we're going to see anything major change, but
Miles
Wind already
just
has.
states Type 0. Let's just be honest.
Final
Miles,
Fantasy Academy.
Miles already, or not Miles. Oh God, Wind already has a number of different things that it can do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got the Veil 4 if you're
Okay.
running Wind Water.
So-
there's. I mean, I think it goes okay with some stuff because you can.
It's the end of their,
you know,
it's the end of their turn, right? We have 4 backups in play, I guess.
Sure.
So we Velfer them for 3. We untap. We tap 3 backups, and we play this. So it did 5 to them, which doesn't kill anything we super care about too often. And then, okay, I mean, like I'm gonna save my Velfers for my Finas and stuff. Like this card doesn't really help me that much. I feel like
I mean, you can, but it also. I mean, it can go along with the Yuri. You know,
Yep.
if you run it in the Wind Water Yuri, or
But
a
then,
wind
I
deck
feel
with
like
Yuri.
I'm playing a
I mean,
slower backup. Like, what win backup am I?
I
not
would mostly
playing
play
to
this in a Type
card?
0 deck, truthfully, because you've got the Type 0 Diablos that does activate your backups if you control X amount of characters, right? So you play your Diablos, you activate your backups, you play your 7. Now your Diablos has done potentially, because Diablos does what, 1,000 for every character you control? And then
Yeah.
7 stacks onto it. So that's, I mean, you get some value out of this. I feel this is actually more suited for cards in its own category.
I like this card in limited.
So.
You know, like they attack you with their AKE, you block with your shitty little 6K, right?
Yeah.
And then like EOT, get yourself a backup, kill it. I like that. I think it's a fun, cool play. And then you're on 4, and then you play your good 4-drop, take over the board. It's fun and limited. I just don't. I mean, like in order for a card to be good, you have to tell me what card you're cutting, right? So you have to tell me a win backup that is in the meta that this card's better than. And I don't think you can do that, and so I think it doesn't. I mean, if what we know of the meta, I don't think this card's in it. So
Right.
next card.
Good point. We already actually
We've
went
already
over
done
this.
this.
Well, okay.
There's been somebody. I don't think there's.
We got
I don't
another
think there's
Type 0
anything
card,
else.
right?
I think
We
Regis.
got this new.
Oh yeah, the Idia
Here,
too.
you do it because you like that game, Bambi. You're
Which-
the
You're the only one that likes
apologist
that
for
game.
Type
it.
0?
No, bro.
No, Idia.
Oh.
Sub-Zero. Here.
This just launched.
So this
today.
just launched today. It's a new Final Fantasy 8 card, 4-drop Lightning Idia EX Burst. It's a 8K forward, which category? And it states when she enters the field, choose 1 active forward opponent controls, and you deal it 1,000 damage for each lightning character you control. It's pretty nice.
So you probably control 7 to 8 lightning characters.
Yep.
So it basically comes into play for 4 and does 7 to 8.
And then your backup can break it and bring it onto the field because it's a witch category.
The card's perfectly fine, right? But what's the main thing about this card?
That it's named Rydia.
That it's named Rydia, which is
6-drop Rydia, more deaths.
So
I mean, it's more deaths, and you can. I mean, depending on your card level, you could crack the backup Rydia to play this Rydia for more removal. But even then, it's still, I don't know.
So its quality is really determined if it's better or worse than that other Rydia. Now you could say you could run both, and possibly you can because the other one does have a EX burst, and it doesn't tap to do it, but it does cost 4.
S ability.
Yeah, it costs 4 to use the S ability on the one. So if you run 2 and 2, that's probably possible. But they're doing pretty much the same thing. They both have EX burst. The one thing that's nice about Idea is it breaks and doesn't do damage. So things like Minwu or Aerith, will obsolete Idea, but the old one won't be obsoleted. The old one also has a lot cooler art.
That's true, I guess.
So
that's legit.
Should be, that matters to me. If I have to play an 8 card, it better look cool. It's rough going in the beginning. So I mean, I don't play Mono Lightning much anymore. I feel like what cards would I cut? Like, is your Amon kind of like your most close to card that you're gonna cut? Is like at the side of your deck list?
Amon's probably the weakest lightning
that's what I'm saying.
card right now.
So it's like we
for the 4 drops, yeah.
So would we play 2 of the 6 drops and 2 of the 4 drops?
No,
I think
at best it's 3 and 1. But I'm playing backup Rydia too, so
yeah. So like, I mean, like, I also it's kind of rough having cards that are like your kill things you want to play cards and then you can't play them sometimes. Like, I mean, like the amount of times that you get advantage from the S ability, which is you have to have 1 in play, this, and then have 4 CP. Is that the same amount of times that you lose because you can't play your other card?
So another big problem with this is that the 4-drop Rydia is 8K, so it's going to stay on the board longer most of the time.
Yeah.
Your 6-drop one, right? It doesn't. You don't really care if it dies.
You just let it die. Yeah.
You just let it fucking die. You don't. You play it again. But that 4-drop Rydia is going to stay on a little bit longer than it.
Yep.
It inhibits you from playing the 6-drop or your backup that you may need to play, right?
Yeah, it's like what I was saying about Marsh earlier. If they made another Marsh, I could possibly play them because I let the little one die. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, so I think it's a little bit harder. I think you maybe do it as a one-of, like you said, but you're also running the backup, and it just gets clogged up, I think.
I mean, like, I think because I've played a Mono Lightning deck that runs the six Rydia, 3 backups, 3 of the forward, and like I don't think I've ever been like, God, I need 7 or 8 Rydia at that point. Like, I don't think I've ever been like, I just need.
I want more Rydias.
I need more death. I legitimately, I don't think I've ever.
And death isn't like super cost efficient. It's like you're playing a 4-drop Odin from the hand, anyways, right?
Yeah, I mean, like the only
you're
time
discarding 2 and that 1 card.
Yeah, the only time it ever feels really, really good is like when I crack Rydia. That's my 5th backup to player to break a 4 cost, and then death off the 4 backups that I have open.
Yeah,
and even then, that's like situational because you know.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe it's a one-off. I don't know. That's as far as
like I was saying before, they have the S ability as kind of the way to get out of this design trap, right, of personas. But it's also hard because, like, if the S abilities are highly costed, it doesn't really help you. Like, when they're the straight no chaser kind, I think it's better, like Alua. Yeah. Like, I'd play another Alua, or you play another Rain, right? Because, like, you just get rid of them.
Yeah.
There's also another new card. It's Gao.
Okay, fine. Neil, you can do this one.
So Gao is a famous blue mage, but they wrote Wild Child by mistake on here. I'm sure that
it doesn't matter because this card sucks.
Yeah, this card
sucks. I don't even know why.
This is an example of the Persona rule just ruining a card. So like this card's like 2 for a 5K, which nobody cares. If you control a monster, it's a 2 for 7K, which is fine. You would never play that in Constructed. You play it limited, possibly. If you control 3 monsters, it also gains Brave. Brave on a 7K isn't really relevant. You don't super care about that. Also, it's named Gao, and the other Gao's super good and really cool and goes in the monsters deck. This card needs monsters and is named Gao, so this card will never be played. It will only.
Does Gao have a S ability?
Yes, he does.
Yeah,
he does, but you run 3 of that Gao anyway.
What does the Gao's S ability do?
If you break something,
if you have 3 monsters in play, break something.
And he gets plus 1,000 power for each monster, and he returns a monster of 2 or less.
So, I mean, I think the only reason you would run this is if you absolutely feel the need to S ability with the 5-drop gal. I think that's about it.
I mean, if you're running so the only way I see it is if you're running like ice water monsters, because you can Setzer back that gal for a special. But even then, it's not good.
This will be one of the last cards you hope to cut from your limited deck, and maybe you'll run it sometimes, and that's all it is. This card's not worth our time.
All right. Well, so the other card, this card's actually relevant, I think.
Yes.
So we've got Regis, new Earth card, 3 cost, backup, job category King, category 15. When Regis enter the field, you may search for one category 15 forward and add it to your hand. It's good. It's great. It goes in any deck that's running Noctis or the rest of the boys.
Yeah.
It's just an ad.
I think like what I said about it when I posted it was like uncreative but necessary.
Yeah, I mean,
you
it's just
need
their
more tutors.
It's their boring template when they don't know what to do. They just do that, and it does nothing else. But
I feel
good to
like
have it.
I feel like it's one of the cards that might help replace the Dataluma in Earthwind, because it's a backup, so you can play this that helps you find that Noctis faster, because that Noctis is going to be, in my opinion, I think it's going to be a card that can help fill that hole.
A little bit, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I think, we can do one more. Let's do one more or 2 more. It looks like you have them logged up too. Fine, let's do 2 more. Everyone has fucking cards. Let's do 2 more.
Spoilers.
There
guys.
was so much,
Okay,
but
let's do a kind of. You pick whatever game you think is best, and I'll pick my game, and whoever game is best that the spoilers from will win the war.
Yeah,
Go,
no,
Bambic.
shut
What
up,
do you got?
Miles.
Except that-
So,
Miles wins.
I didn't know who I picked.
Shut up.
You
All right,
another Type 0 card. This one's Rem, so we got another new Rem card. She's a 4-drop, 6K wind. It states when Rem receives damage, reduce the damage by 3,000. And then at the end of your turn, activate Rem. And then you can tap Rem to choose a forward other than herself and activate it.
does what?
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's a typo card. They do a
It's-
bunch of
it's
shit.
crazy.
They're annoying.
So she reduces damage by 3K, which is pretty awesome.
It has
Oh, for her. For her,
she's
though.
for her.
For her.
Yeah.
But
She's a pseudo 9K.
the nice thing is, though, at the end of your turn, it gives you an active forward, and it allows you
So
to...
it has pseudo brave then, pretty
It
much,
costs too
right?
much.
It also allows you to activate another one of your forwards in case, you're playing against ice or something.
It doesn't push, and it doesn't do anything right when you play it, and it costs 4, so it's bad.
That's your opinion, but we'll see.
That's my
We'll see.
It's my assessment.
I'll be surprised when
Choose
this
one
shows you
forward.
up and then you lose to it every single time.
Choose one forward other than Rem. Activate it. I think it can still be good because of the tap ability. Choose one
Yep.
forward other than Rem. Activate it.
And
right?
the fact that
So-
she activates at the end of your turn so that you
Yes.
can utilize the ability again,
Alright.
too. Yeah.
Genesis, Idol, and Freezer.
Well, I mean, you won't be able to use it at the end of your turn, because at the end of your turn,
No,
we're
I
already gonna
meant-
have
I
stack,
meant-
but I mean,
Yeah,
For your
you use
opponent's
that at the
turn.
yeah,
opponent's
but you can use
turn.
it on the opponent's turn.
Yeah.
So.
What card are you? So, as the deck stands right now, you're playing Typo. You seem familiar with it. What card are you taking out to put how many of these in?
Trey?
I
maybe?
haven't played a Type 0 deck in a while, but
So-
there's...
So you're confident in the Typo assessment when you don't know the deck? Like, I mean.
I was talking about 7 mostly, though, Miles, but okay, that's fine.
just saying,
That's fine.
I'm just saying,
but
man.
let's move on.
Okay, so yeah, I think maybe in the typo, I think Trey was played, right? And then what's another 4-drop that was played a lot? You should know.
Yeah,
No,
King's
King's
a
of 5-drop.
Kings of
There
There
were
was
no other-
Trey
Doesn't
4-drop.
King
There
get,
was
like,
another
plus
4.
1,000 for each typo?
Machina was
Machina
might have
and
been
Fire.
another one.
And
And then there was 9
lightning.
in Lightning. 9.
Yeah, there you go. So you have those 3. I think Trey's really good because
Trey's
of
good.
its ability and the summon thing, right? When it's active and
Active can't be chosen by summons.
Yeah.
Dual can't be chosen by abilities.
So I think it's actually if you go like wind fire and you just strip the whole lightning. I remember when Cadet Zero was a thing. It was like tricolor usually, but I think with the new cards coming out, you can strip the lightning side or strip the wind side or whatever, and just keep it dual
It
color.
a lot of people were running the 2-drop 8 that I probably would sack for this.
Yeah,
Not
it
9,
was-
I meant 8.
Okay,
Yeah.
so there you go.
8's a 3-drop.
That's why I just wanted
Yeah.
to know
The
like
other-
what card were you wanting to get rid of in the deck?
Yeah,
that you
yeah.
wanted
8
to,
might be
you
the
know?
best option for
Because
the
Yeah,
8
replacement.
basically has almost literally the same effect, other than he reduces damage to 0,
say,
but
yeah.
you have to use the special for that. Whereas this one,
8
she gets
untaps,
that.
though,
Well, the other
when it comes in.
Yeah, the other thing that I actually like about that is Type 0, most of their specials, like King and stuff,
They
they
do
all
have
have
a
to
lot of
tap
good
them.
S abilities.
So you have to tap them to use their S ability. So that allows you to use their S ability
Sync.
and still have them
Can
as
you
a
imagine
blocker.
this with Sync? The one where choose a forward, it can't block, or no, it must block this turn. So you S ability with sync, you activate her again, and then you do it again. Now you have two forwards that have to block.
That's a 3-card combo, though.
Yeah, you need a lot of forwards for that one. That's a little bit rough.
Right, but if you're trying to push the game though, and they've got
Because
two forwards,
you need 4 forwards, right? You need sync, you need the Rem, you need King and Machina, for
You
instance,
need to have
right?
forwards that are weaker than your forwards.
And so you swing in with King, and then you tap the sync.
well,
and
the
then to do
one
it,
I'm thinking
and
of
the
is
Rem
Vermilion
to
Bird.
untap, and then
Vermilion Bird Zoo, where when he deals damage and that forward goes to the break zone, activate Bird and he swings again. So your opponent is not going to allow you to. He's just gonna take the damage, right? So you force him to block, and then your Bird goes in again.
I feel like you're already winning if you're attacking with that card, though.
Not
Right?
necessarily,
I mean, if it's your 5-drop big attacker.
because he doesn't activate if you deal
All right,
damage
we're
to
done.
your opponent. but-
Okay.
I know, man, but you're
I think
attacking with
they're both good points. So we have one last card that we're gonna do. It's Miles is gonna read Japanese because it's in Japanese. Oh, is there an English
There's a
version?
translation.
Okay, there's a
I'm
translation.
reading
at the
this
bottom.
in Japanese.
Okay,
I'm
it's
very
fine.
educated. It's so this is Mog from Final Fantasy VI, one of the greatest games ever made, and it costs 3 CP, and its job is Moogle. So
That's a thing?
that matters. That's a relevant job type.
Wasn't there a 3-drop Moogle that was never played anyways for the Mog 6?
I'm not saying it's it's sufficiently relevant, but it does matter. It's a job type that interacts, right?
Yeah.
So it's a line of text. When it enters the play, you draw 2 cards. When it leaves, you discard 2 cards. If you have 2 cards,
Yep.
which is something important to think about. It also has an S ability, one of its dances, because he's a dancer. Dusk Requiem. You have to play S, water, then tap. So that's pretty heavy, right? Because it's not a straight no chaser one. You have to have the card, pay 2, and be able to tap. But it says choose 1 forward. Reveal the top card of your deck. If it has an even cost, return the chosen forward to its owner's hand. So if you choose their forward, you might be able to bounce it, right? If it has an odd cost, Dawn freeze it and deal 4k to it instead. The good thing about this is if you want to deal with a card, you're like, get out of here, card. I got things to do. I got to attack. It's probably going to deal with it.
And it clears the card in either situation.
Yeah,
So
so
it gets rid of the card either way.
there's sometimes you don't want to bounce their Cloud of Darkness
Or their
normally.
Veritas or something.
But if you really just need a guy out of the way, he will do it one way or the other.
Don't forget, you also get to add the revealed card to your hand as well.
Do you?
Yes.
Both
that,
times.
That is a very good point,
Yes.
Bambic, and that makes it really good because basically if you're paying 2 CP from your hand, if you're discarding a card and discarding a Mog, you get one of those cards back, so you basically get the Merfolk loot, right? Draw a card, discard, which is quite strong. Also, it's important to remember, like, if you're playing a fast deck with this, like I was talking about the Rosa Lightning Water Attack You Die deck, like you're never discarding 2 cards.
Yeah.
Like you don't have any cards in your hand.
Oh, look, I drew a Veritas. My card revealed is Veritas.
And if they kill it, and if you have a decent number of summons or something, if they kill the card and you have to discard 2, you can just play your summons out. Like we were playing, I was against Drew today, and he's like, Zidane you? I'm like, no, while Leviathan, fan for it, now Zidane this, bitch. That's right, Drew. Love you, buddy. So, I mean, you might lose the 2. It's possible. But also, you can play around that, right? So, I don't know if this card is good because right now 6 water stuff is kind of iffy.
Yep.
It's mostly monster stuff.
It's also, I mean,
It's
as
4,000, and I think that's
Yeah.
what's going to make it
Yeah.
really bad.
as a 3 cost though, it also is a Phoenix target.
Which is
Legendary
a-
Phoenix
yeah,
target,
that's
which is important.
a very good
you
point.
Play Phoenix for 7,
Very
and you
good
get to draw
point.
2 cards back. You might be soon out of cards, so the secondary doesn't hurt as much.
Also,
You
if
know.
you have an effect in your deck where you can dump mana into, like an active ability, you can get some value out of it, that way. Even if it's just it's on the 2 blue untapped thing,
Yeah.
the backup, you can maybe just do that or something, to get the value back. But yeah, it being water, Water Phoenix is a deck. People are running that, so that's a very good point. I didn't think about that. So there's Strago for Final Fantasy VI that he actually gets the bounce if you control a 6 character.
Oh,
But
that's Strago.
yeah, so he is a little weak,
original.
but maybe that matters. But I like this card. I don't know if it'll be super good, but it's a very interesting card. It does a lot of things.
I don't think it's going to see play.
Yeah, probably not. But it does it does do a lot of things for a little bit, and that's kind of what I want from cards.
But it
Yeah,
lets me
it's
draw more
interesting.
Moogles.
It's interesting. It's a new kind of thing,
Yeah.
right? So I think it's really cool. I don't
like
think it's
it.
going to see play.
No. Oh, also, Locke is the cover boy on the poster.
Yeah, so we probably will get a Dissidia lock.
Yeah, that's
right,
like
for
a
the
guarantee.
cards.
These are good.
Right.
I don't know. I was trying to talk to my buddy, and I'm like, what could it even be to make it playable? Like the lock we have is so good.
Yeah, there's.
Mirage. The ability to Mirage more is actually.
I mean, there's
don't think
already a
that's
lock.
bad.
There's already a lock that does the gather together
Yeah.
thing. It's a 4-drop,
Yeah,
7K
6K.
lock,
plays
and
that
then
card.
no one plays it. Obviously,
Yeah, no
right?
one's gonna play
I play
this
it in my
Dissidia
title
one.
6 deck that has no summons.
Well, I
even though the game's the summon game and is more about summons than any other game, it has no summons.
Yeah.
It has one. I have one.
You have one.
I have one.
Okay. Well, anyways, thank you for joining live from Midgar.
Thank you, RB, for giving us the spoiler.
Yeah, thank you. This was a spoiler edition, and we went through a lot of the spoilers, and we gave the spoiler for our card.
Yeah.
And it was the Sylph. I think it's flavorful. I think it's interesting enough.
Thank you for doing this late at night.
Everyone.
Yeah, well, and to
Edward.
and to Edward, the master of the house, to the best shop in Everett.
I mean, if you actually showed up on Thursdays, you know we do this late every night on Thursdays anyways.
I got stuff to do.
Everyone's got shit to do. Which reminds me, we all do.
We have
So
stuff right now,
We
so-
have stuff to do. So we'll catch you next time. This has been Steve.
Steven.
Neil.
And Miles.